Hey everybody, today I am super excited to share with you the new DJI Mini 4 Pro. Now, if you've been following this channel for a while, you will know I absolutely love the Mini series drones for their versatility, portability, and importantly, the fact that they are very regulation friendly. And what DJI has done with this new Mini 4 Pro is taken our wish list of features and thrown them all into this drone and improved the areas that we would like to have seen improved on the Mini 3 Pro, such as transmission, making this a very capable drone. And it now includes all the flagship features such as Waypoints, new Active Track 360, HDR video up to 60 FPS and 4K 100 FPS slow motion, Omnidirectional Obstacle Sensing, Occusync 4 and more. And today I would like to walk you through everything that's new on this Mini 4 Pro compared to the Mini 3 Pro. Now, quick disclaimer, DJI sent me this drone out a few weeks early to test, but this is not a sponsored video, and DJI did not tell me to say anything specific in this video. If you would like to find out more about this drone or pick it up, I will put a link in the description down below. I will also put a link down below where you can find out more about DJI Care Refresh, which is DJI's version of insurance. And I highly recommend picking it up to protect your drone from accidental damage, and we will talk more about Care Refresh later in this video. Okay, I'm super excited to share the new features of the DJI Mini 4 Pro. Let's jump right in. And let's start with the first thing you will notice when you take this little drone out of its box, and that is the included propeller guard and the new gimbal guard. Now, the new gimbal guard is an improved design over the Mini 3 Pro. I know a lot of the early Mini 3 Pros gimbal guards was actually quite difficult to place on the drone. You basically had to make sure that the gimbal didn't move as you put it on, or else you would struggle to attach it. Well, this is not the case with the new design, which attaches nice and easily and actually locks into place with new locator holes on the bottom of the drone itself. This gimbal guard not only protects the gimbal and camera, it now also protects the two fisheye sensors on the front of the drone, and we'll talk more about them sensors later in this video. Now, something a lot of people will be happy to see included is a new propeller guard. So if you were somebody that bought a third-party propeller guard for your Mini 3 Pro, you'll be happy to see that one is now included with this drone. Again, it attaches nice and easily, and as well as holding your propellers in place, this prop guard also has 2 feet, so when you set the drone down when it's folded up, the drone is nice and stable, it won't roll over, and it will keep the bottom sensors of your drone nice and clean if you put it down in a grassy area, for example. Looking at the appearance of the Mini 4 Pro, you can see it's very similar to the Mini 3 Pro. And when it comes to weight, both these drones weigh under 249 grams, making them super lightweight and portable. Both these drones also have the same flight time of 34 minutes, but if you use the optional Flight Battery Plus, the DJI Mini 3 Pro actually pips the new Mini 4 Pro with a flight time of 47 minutes compared to the Mini 4 Pro's 45 minutes. And I would imagine this is because of the additional sensors on this new Mini 4 Pro take up a little bit more battery. Both drones are also roughly the same size. However, the new DJI Mini 4 Pro has legs on the front, making it a tiny bit longer when folded. And these front legs will prevent the drone from tipping over when you're landing it on uneven surfaces and stop your propellers from clipping the ground. The first main difference you will see when looking at this Mini 4 Pro compared to the Mini 3 Pro is the 4 new fisheye sensors, 2 facing forwards and 2 facing backwards. And these sensors, combined with the downward binocular vision sensors and infrared sensors, now allow omnidirectional obstacle avoidance on the Mini 4 Pro. And this is a big improvement over the Mini 3 Pro's tri-directional obstacle avoidance. Whereas the Mini 3 Pro could only see forwards, backwards and downwards, the new Mini 4 Pro can see 360 all around itself. And this is going to come in super useful for when doing things like tracking, because a lot of the time when you are tracking yourself, the drone is actually flying sideways alongside you. And this now means that it can see obstacles coming up to either side of it and either bypass them or brake when it sees them, making tracking much safer. It can also reduce the risk of you hitting obstacles and the anxiety of crashing your drone if you are a beginner. And if you are also using intelligent flight modes such as quick shots or master shots, you can have peace of mind that the drone can now see all around itself when performing these intelligent flight modes. Now, the Mini 4 Pro also comes with APAS, Advanced Pilot Assistance System, which allows you to enable bypass mode. And this means whenever you're flying your drone forwards, backwards, upwards, downwards, or left or right, the drone can sense any obstacles coming up on its flight route and automatically fly around these without you having to make additional inputs on the controller and the drone will just continue on its path. When it comes to the camera on the Mini 4 Pro, this is the same 1/1.3 inch sensor, f1.7 aperture, 48 megapixel camera as the Mini 3 Pro. However, due to an image signal processor update, the Mini 4 Pro now performs better in scenarios like sunsets and nighttime. At nighttime, the highlight recovery has been improved and there is less of a blurry look when using higher ISO values. This camera also has the same dual native ISO system as the Mini 3 Pro, allowing HDR footage. However, unlike the Mini 3 Pro, where this system only worked at 30 FPS or less, on the new DJI Mini 4 Pro, this now works at 4K all the way up to 60 FPS. The Mini 4 Pro is also better for slow motion, allowing 4K 100 FPS compared to the Mini 3 Pro's 4K 60 FPS. And in 1080p with the Mini 4 Pro, you can also record at an even slower frame rate of 200 FPS. Aside from the normal color profile, 10-bit D-Log-M and HLG have now been added to the Mini 4 Pro compared to the Mini 3 Pro, which only had D-Cine-like, allowing you to retain more highlight and shadow details for post-processing with D-Log-M, giving you much more flexibility when color grading in post. The camera can also rotate just like the Mini 3 Pros, allowing true vertical recording, which is great if you like to capture clips for social media websites which use vertical videos, such as Instagram. Now, if you use your drone for photography, the Mini 4 Pro comes with Next Gen Smart Photo. Now, what this does is select different stack methods automatically, like HDR or Hyperlight, to adjust and optimize parameters specifically for the scene you're capturing to obtain images with higher dynamic range. And this has been elevated up to 5 stops. So if you are capturing a forest, the sky, or anything in between, scene recognition optimizes the color, detail, and tone of your image. Hyperlight can then combine multiple images to produce a final image with optimized exposure and reduced levels of noise. And again, just like the Mini 3 Pro, on the Mini 4 Pro you can decide between capturing 12 megapixel and 48 megapixel images. And I have to say, the images I have captured with this Mini 4 Pro look absolutely breathtaking, and I have been super impressed with the quality. Now, when it comes to tracking on the Mini 4 Pro, we have the previous spotlight, where the drone will stay in one place in the air and rotate and move the gimbal up and down to keep your subject in the center of the frame, and point of interest mode, where the drone will do an orbit around your subject. But we also get a brand new Active Track 360 mode. And this is arguably DJI's most advanced tracking mode on any of their drones. With the Mini 3 Pro, we only had 2 orientations for tracking. We had trace mode, where the drone would follow around behind you as you moved around, and parallel mode, where the drone would fly along next to you as you moved around your location. But we couldn't actually set a specific orientation for the drone to follow us, and we also couldn't set a distance from our subject or from ourselves that we wanted the drone to track. But this is now possible with the Active Track 360 system on the DJI Mini 4 Pro. When you now use Active Track 360, you will see a new dial on the bottom left of the controller screen. And on this dial, you can decide a specific orientation you want the drone to track you from. So you could have it behind you, to the left, to the right, or in front, but you could also have it off to the right diagonally, behind you to the left diagonally, etc. But also, if you look closely on this dial, you can decide if you want the drone to track you from a far or close distance. So you now have the ability to decide if you want the drone to track you closely or from a further away distance. And if you go into the settings menu and go down to the focus track settings, you can also now fine tune these distances. So you can set the distance for close tracking, and you can set the distance for far away tracking. And you can also set the height the drone will stay at as it's tracking you from a far distance, and the height the drone will stay at when it's tracking you from a close distance, making this new Active Track 360 feature incredibly customizable. But it gets even better. If you start with the drone in a certain orientation and distance away from the subject, but then slide your finger to a new orientation or a new distance from your subject, you will see a path appear on this dial. And this shows you the path the drone will now take as it moves into this new position. And this means you can have the drone perform specific maneuvers as it's tracking a subject. So for example, you could have the drone start at a far away distance from behind you, but then have it sweep round along beside you at a close distance. Or you could even start with the drone off to the side of you from behind at a far distance, and then sweep around all the way to the other side of you at a close distance. And you can see you can now use this system to achieve diverse tracking shots. And remember, because we have omnidirectional obstacle sensing on this drone, it's also safer to do tracking. So the drone can see all around itself whenever it's doing these highly customizable active track 360 maneuvers to make sure it will stop itself if it ever encounters an obstacle. And this is easily one of my favorite new features on the DJI Mini 4 Pro. Now, when it comes to controllers, the Mini 4 Pro is compatible with the new DJI RC2, that's the controller with the screen on it, and the DJI RC N2, that's the controller you attach your phone to. These controllers have the new upgraded antenna system to allow you to use Occusync 4 with the DJI Mini 4 Pro, and the DJI RC has these new 2 fold-up antennas. And these combined with Occusync 4 allow live view on your controller of 1080p at 60 FPS and a massively improved transmission distance of 20 kilometers FCC. And you can see compared to the DJI Mini 3 Pro's range of 12 kilometers FCC, this is a big improvement. Now, I personally never fly my drone these distances away from me, but where I have found Occusync 4 to be a massive improvement is if you fly your drone momentarily behind an obstacle, such as a tree, for example, I sometimes find that the Mini 3 Pro's transmission could cut out and you might lose that video feed from your controller. Well, with the Mini 4 Pro using Occusync 4 with the new DJI RC2, I have found the transmission to be a massive improvement. When flying the drone in a range of different locations, I have found the transmission to be much more reliable and much more stable. And when the drone just has momentarily just flown behind an obstacle, or if I was doing a tracking move, for example, holding the controller and the drone just flew behind a tree, I have found no transmission dropout. And this just inspires confidence when flying your drone, especially as a beginner. Moving back to the camera briefly on the Mini 4 Pro, and night mode has now been added. And if you use this mode when capturing footage at nighttime, you're going to notice much cleaner and better looking videos. This is because night mode uses a special noise reduction algorithm to suppress noise, especially when using higher ISO values, which you will need to use at nighttime to get cleaner looking videos. Now, another feature I know so many people have been asking for on the Mini 3 Pro and will be really happy to see added to the Mini 4 Pro is Waypoints. Yep, Waypoints are now available on the Mini 4 Pro. And this will allow you to create a pre-planned flight route, as well as being able to decide what action the drone will take at each of the waypoints. So at the first waypoint, you could have it start recording a video, and at the last waypoint, you could have it stop recording a video. And as the drone flies along the route, you can have the drone automatically focus on a point of interest. And this allows you to have your drone fly the same route over and over again, even if it's on different days. And this can be great for capturing progress videos. Maybe you are capturing a construction site, for example. You can have the drone fly the same route months apart, and then when you cut the footage together, you can see the progress of that construction site as the building comes together. Or you could just use it to show things like the passing off seasons. It's a very, very useful feature that's no longer confined to DJI's flagship drones, as you can use it on the DJI Mini 4 Pro. Another nice new feature that's been added to the Mini 4 Pro is cruise control. And this feature works much like the cruise control on a car. It allows you to start doing a drone move, press the cruise control button, and now the movements will be locked in place. So you can take your thumbs or fingers off the joysticks and the drone will continue to do that move. Now, this is super useful if you're somebody who struggles to make nice, smooth, consistent drone moves. Maybe you find your fingers or thumbs start to twitch. It means you can start that drone move, enable cruise control mode, and now you don't have to worry about your fingers or thumbs twitching, causing jerky or twitchy footage, as the drone will just continue to do that move automatically with no input required on the controller. It's also really useful if you struggle with doing complex drone moves. For example, if you're doing a push forward, rise up, gimbal down, you have to make 2 inputs on the joysticks while smoothly controlling the gimbal. Well, with cruise control, you could actually just lock in the push forward, rise up motion, and then take your fingers off the joysticks as the drone does it for you and focus solely on smoothly controlling the gimbal. Now, to use this feature, all you have to do is map one of the function buttons on the controller to cruise control, and then you are good to go to use this new feature. The DJI Mini 4 Pro also comes with advanced return to home. So how does advanced return to home differ to the normal return to home mode? Well, in the normal return to home mode, when return to home engages, maybe you lose signal from your controller to your drone, the drone will rise up to a set altitude that you've set onto your safety menu. The drone will fly back to above its home point, which is set whenever you initially take the drone off, and then it will lower down and land. Advanced return to home, on the other hand, doesn't rise up to a preset altitude. Instead, it automatically works out an altitude that it needs to rise up to safely return back to you. And a lot of the time, this is only 10 or 20 meters off the ground. And this can prevent it flying up to a much higher altitude than it actually needs to. And as it flies back to you in advanced return to home mode, the drone can automatically fly around and bypass obstacles as it comes back to you. And this means that it saves battery as it's coming back to you, which can be critical if you have a very low battery when return to home engages. Another feature that I really like that has been added to the DJI Mini 4 Pro is 3 new augmented reality features. Firstly, there is now an augmented reality home point added to the controller screen. And this allows you to visually see on the screen as you're flying the drone where the home point is, and can help you fly back to the home point more easily, or just see visually where the home point is currently set to. When using return to home, you also get a new augmented reality flight path appear, and this shows you in real time the flight path or the route the drone is taking as it flies back to you. Lastly, you get the new AR aircraft shadow. So when you point the gimbal straight down towards the ground, you will now see a shadow showing you exactly where the drone is going to land, and this can help you land the drone more precisely. As you get closer to the ground, this shadow also increases in size to represent the actual size of the drone, and this can help you know that the drone is definitely going to fit in the area that you are about to land it. There is also new hyperlapse improvements. Firstly, the time limit has now been removed, so you can capture time lapses for as long as you desire. Also, hyperlapse compositing now happens as it's recording, which greatly shortens the time it takes to generate the hyperlapse after you have stopped capturing it. If I do a side-by-side comparison on the screen now of the time it takes to generate the hyperlapse on the Mini 3 Pro compared to the Mini 4 Pro, you can see the Mini 4 Pro is significantly faster. Just quickly, while we are looking at the other intelligent modes, we also get master shots, which is where the drone will automatically go off and perform a range of drone moves around a subject you have selected, and when it comes back to you, you will have a pre-made video of your subject ready to go. And we have quick shots, where the drone will automatically perform a single drone move off a subject. Looking at the bottom of the Mini 4 Pro, and you will see a new Class 0 marking. And this means that in Europe, no exam or training is required, and in the US, no registration is required, making this little drone super regulation friendly. Also looking at the bottom of this drone, and you will see a new auxiliary light. Now, this auxiliary light will come on automatically when you're taking off or landing the drone in low light or nighttime scenarios. And this helps the drone see more clearly when landing, to make landing more precise, but also to be able to detect the ground underneath it to see if it's suitable for landing. And it can also help the drone hover more precisely in place when flying in low light scenarios. Now, you can also map this auxiliary light to one of the function buttons on the controller, so you can turn it on or off manually. Now, if you have just purchased this drone and are looking to protect your investment, then I highly recommend DJI Care Refresh. It's DJI's version of insurance, and it covers you for accidental damage that includes collisions, flyaways, and water damage. Now, I have had the misfortune of crashing a Mini 3 Pro and a Vata and using DJI Care Refresh for them drones, and I have found Care Refresh to be an incredible service. When I crashed my DJI Avata, for example, I returned it on a Tuesday and had a brand new drone in my hands by the Friday. It was very, very quick. Now, the Mini 4 Pro comes with great new safety features, such as Omnidirectional Obstacle Avoidance and APAS for detecting, braking, or bypassing when it sees an obstacle. But a simple lapse in judgment or concentration can mean you crash or damage this drone, so it's worth being protected. And I will put a link in the description down below where you can find out more about DJI Care Refresh. So there you have it, that's everything new on the DJI Mini 4 Pro, and I am very, very excited about this drone. This drone basically has all the features I would ever need, while remaining small, lightweight, compact, and portable. Now, before you go, if you liked this video and you learned something new, please let me know by giving me the thumbs up and clicking that like button down below. And if you love all things drones and want to know how to get better images and more cinematic videos with your drone, then I recommend you check out my channel, where I have a ton of other content to help you level up your drone game. If you don't want to miss any of my upcoming DJI Mini 4 Pro videos, then please consider subscribing by clicking that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, make sure to check that notification bell so that you will be alerted when my new Mini 4 Pro videos are released. It would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to stick around and watch a few more videos now, here's a few I personally recommend. I'll not keep you back any further. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you over there.